Hi again then guys, and welcome to another Special Projects Replica build. And over the course of the coming week, we're actually going to be having something of a Ferrari week as far as replicas go, specifically a 458 based week. I'm going to bring out 3 Special Projects replicas, all based around the base model of the 458. We're going to be replicating the 488 GTB, the 458 Special, and the 458 Challenge. Now, first of all, we're doing the 488 GTB, which is probably going to be the most popular of the 3. And as far as the visuals of these tunes, it's actually relatively simple, because the 3 cars that we're replicating cannot really be replicated visually by any of the body modifications that are on the game. So you're better off really just leaving the body stock. Now, for this particular build, I've decided to paint it silver, but obviously it's a production model, so you can go for whatever colour you want, and it doesn't have any kind of body kit or rear wing, or even particularly fancy wheels. Now, you can change the rims if you so choose, but I've opted to go for the standard rims because they look the part, and we can't really get the 488 GTB's rims closely replicated on the game anyway, so I've just left those stock. So, we'll go straight over to the mechanical tuning garage for the replica of the car's performance, and then of course take it out to the track to see what it can do. Now, I of course like to make my replicas as PP relevant as possible, and I'm glad to say that all 3 of these cars actually are rounded off quite nicely PP wise. This one is the highest of the 3 at 590 PP. Now, I've gone for sports soft tyres because of course it's a production model, more of a street based vehicle. I've left the brakes stock for the same reason. For the suspension, we've got the ride height on 100, front and rear. Springs we've slightly increased to 950 and 1475. Dampers and anti-roll I've left on 3 because you don't want the car to feel overly taut and stiff, because it's not a hardcore model, it's a new generation model, so it doesn't necessarily need to feel like a hardcore track car, just slightly better than the 458 as far as handling. Camber and toe we've gone neutral on. We'll come back to the gearbox last. As usual, I've left the clutch and flywheel stock. For the diff, we've got the lowest initial torque to allow the handling to be fairly loose but still good. Acceleration and braking as high as possible. As far as power, all 3 of these builds are running oil changes, and you can actually use technically one car to build all 3 replicas. Now, I've gone for a stage 3 engine tune, sports computer, sports exhaust, manifold, cat and intake tuning, and then reduced the power down to 661 horsepower. And as far as weight, not only are we running the exact weight of the car, but we are also running the exact weight distribution of the car. So you want a stage 2 weight reduction, leave the bonnet and the windows stock, then add a 79 kilo ballast and put that all the way to the front of the car to bring us not only to 1370 kilos, which is the weight of the 488 GTB, but also the 4654 weight split. And finally, for the gearbox, well, I couldn't find them, basically, so if there are any people who know the gear ratios of the 488 GTB, then feel free to use those, but I quite simply was not able to find any, so I've left it standard to the 458 gearbox. So you could use the ratios from the other replicas that will come out over the course of the week, but as I said, I just can't find those. So that's it for the mechanical replica overall. Now let's finally, of course, take it out to a racetrack to see how it performs. Now, this is the fastest of our 3 458 replicas, or 458 based replicas in a straight line. It has the most power, and it is the most normal, technically, of the 3, because the Special is, of course, a more hardcore version, the Challenge is a track-only version. This is a production model, it's the next generation, in effect. So, as far as its track performance, it's not necessarily as tight and taut and focused as the other 2, but that's deliberately so. You do not want this car to feel too good, so you do have to brake a little bit earlier. You do have to compensate for the handling a little bit more. Now, the handling is still very good. It's actually slightly heavier than you might expect. It has more grip than you might expect, despite the soft tyres, and it handles very well overall. So for those of you who do decide to use this 488 GTB tune, obviously I hope you find it fun and competitive, and hit subscribe down below to keep up with others in the future. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.